The following presentation contains content that some individuals may find sensitive or distressing. We want to provide a warning in advance to ensure that everyone is aware and can make an informed decision about their participation.
At the crossroads of existence, where the realms of the living and the dead converge, there lies a haven, the Crossover Tavern. Within these walls, destinies are etched, and the scales of justice measure the souls of the departed. But beware, for not all tales are meant to be embraced. Some will send shivers down your spine and make you question the very fabric of existence. Step into the world of Enoron, where legends are born and mysteries are laid to rest. Welcome to Fables from the Forgotten.
Welcome! How pleased I am to have you as my guest here within the Crossover, the tavern at the end of where the living walk. You stand just beyond that border and firmly in the Scourge. It is in this realm that you shall hear the doomed and the dead tell their final tales. It is in this place that I, Alabaster, the keeper of tales, Enoron's eternal historian, sit, ensuring that no matter what path the keepers of the Crossover decide, all that transpires is recorded. Sit for a while and listen. Fear not while you are by my side as we learn if this patron's story shall continue on or become another Fable from the Forgotten. Well, an unusual sight this one is. Do you see his hands? Raw fingertips, cracked nails. Clearly, he wanted something, or someone, far more than he cared about his own well-being. Do you smell that? That is not the scent of death. That is the heady aroma of sorrow and suffering. Finished off with something far worse. Do we pity this one? Wait. Let us not be so hasty. Look again before deciding. Do you see it? The confusion on his face. So much different than those who meet death at the end. They never even realized it was happening. I am intrigued. Let us listen for a while and hear what tale he has to tell.
What's the meaning of all this? Where am I? How have I come to be here?
Oh, my dearest and eternally bound, I think you'll be delighted to greet this one. He reeks of interesting.
I am sure it does not.
Do you presume to speak about me as if I do not stand here? Sir, I've asked a question of you. I'm not accustomed to repeating myself, but for your sake I shall. Where is my assistant? No, wait, that's not the question I wanted to ask. Where is she? That's what I wanted to ask? Yes. That is what I must know before moving forward any further. Where is she? I can't remember where she's gone. Is she here? You will tell me what I wish to know, Keeper.
My eternity, I learned long ago not to trifle with you when you are otherwise occupied. That is, unless it was for something you would definitely enjoy. This patron will be enjoyable for you. I'm positive of it.
Have you forgotten? I'll remind you again. What the eye that watches the lifeless finds as interesting does not begin to match what I... Oh, he does smell interesting.
I knew it. See, I have learned a few things over the eons. Now, let us begin. Welcome, patron. You are in the Crossover.
Pulled me away from a delightful double murder of cheating spouses. It is the least you can do to let me have the first taste of this one.
What are you two talking about? I'm standing here and I demand to be acknowledged.
Shh! Sit. Be at ease. Rest. You are in the Crossover now, and you have a story to tell. I do not want you to lack for the energy. Besides, you are among the doomed and the dead now. There is nowhere to rush off to. Start at the beginning. I want to hear every detail, and please do be entertaining. Not to worry you, but try not to bore me. I don't care for it, and your eternity's at stake after all.
I'll try, but it's complicated. The beginning blends with the end. I think it does. I don't know when it began. I wanted it before I knew it was there. I mean her. I wanted her. How can that be? Did I always want her even though I didn't know her yet? Did I want her after I knew her? Or had I always wanted her but didn't realize it before? Because I didn't know her, even though I had always known her.
Did you see that? The eyes. They shifted ever so. Interesting, isn't it?
Yes, he will suffer so much. How exciting.
You are in such a state, sir. Considering his condition, maybe I was wrong, dearest. Maybe this one will not be able to tell his tale properly. I'll just deal with him. Simply remove him and let you get back to your previous drama. A double murder, was it?
Wait! You cannot just dismiss me. I may be a bit scattered at the moment, but I will soldier on, and I have this. It's the journal of the mad gnome I was investigating. Every day, every thought, all recorded and all in order. If and where my mind and memory fail, its record shall not. I'll read it to you if that's acceptable.
How precious. It brought notes. I do adore a man who is prepared and thoughtful in their depravity. See, making it interesting and easy to decide on. Good choice, Ori. You have learned a few things. Page 1, please. I don't want you to skip a single line.
Take note, then, as I did when I began this investigation, of the words carved into its cover. Beware, beware the creature's eye. She feeds from fear deep in your mind. Observe the disfigured leather and burnt edges. Intentional, I suspect, designed to hide any lingering traces of the murders this book has bore witness to. See how dense the cover is. No quill can scratch this. The words have been carved into it. Given its stench of flesh and lack of precise blade marks, I dare to speculate that it was done with a fingernail, leading to considerable damage to the author. Grisly warning indeed. It came to me following the discovery of the scene. Well, after the discovery, and once it was pried out of the poor doctor's hands. Even in the doctor's state and circumstance, it was all he cared about. Docile upon his taking, he then made a terrible mess out of my men. They tried to seize and separate him from it. His wailing within the holding cell was demonic in ferocity, intensity, and duration, diminishing only when the book was brought back into his line of sight. I pondered if it would end should they be reunited, but I would not take that chance. Nearly drowned out the raging storm outside. It was relentless as well, filling my mind for hours as I went through cup after cup of tea that she brought to me. I never needed to ask her. My dutiful servant always. Where is she anyways? She's always been with me, whether home or when I travel. I would have expected her to arrive by now. Is your establishment visibly signed, obvious that it's open? I would hate for her to get lost. Excuse me, I must go to her. She's all that matters to me.
Fascinating. It really has no idea. You cannot imagine how delightful this tale has been to me.
Yes, as I've said, I've learned how to keep you happy.
I wasn't speaking to you. Apologies, Inspector. Please continue. I believe a storm was raging? Outside, you said?
Yes, a storm outside, just as it is now. The howl of wind and crash of thunder was as distracting then as now. But I'm nothing if not a dedicated and focused man. I worked through it then, and I shall again now.
Forgive me interrupting so soon. You said you hear the storm now? In here? Well, that is unexpected. Apologies. Continue.
Of course I can hear the storm. It's just as loud within this place as before. Your establishment is not so loud that the storm would be silenced. I realized, given what had been seen in the doctor's place of study, and his now endless obsession with this book, that it was indeed the key to understanding events. It's not just what had occurred that night. The murders and the explosion, both of his own making, of course, are what happened. but it is the why those things happened. That was the unknown that eyes. Do not look through them. It said not to look.
Fascinating.
Indeed. Now stop interrupting. This is getting good.
That I knew was the real question. Admittedly, an ill feeling belonged to my very soul from the onset of things, but I'm not some easily dissuaded neophyte fretting over this omen or that grisly sight. The truth would not be kept from my eye. It's not without good cause that I rose to be the city's chief investigator. My reputation is established and well earned. Now, let us turn to the first entry.
10th Age, 3247 after shattering. My expedition into the deserts of Enoron has provided an archaeological discovery, the merit and impact of which I believe will, in time, be found most valuable. I entered a space, a burial chamber by its configuration. Within the chamber, I found myself surrounded by strange symbols and drawings, hieroglyphics from an unknown language of some ancient people forgotten to time. At the chamber's center stood a most curious statue, and the like of which I had not previously encountered. My initial hypothesis was that it was a deity, unclear in its purpose but carved in the feminine form. This goddess bore some resemblance to humans in its anatomy, save from the presence of 6 arms, outstretched, ending in claws, spear-like in form and length, it posing that of a predator prepared to pounce onto its prey. It bore another feature, one I have not encountered before in my travels across Enoron. The body was covered in carvings of what appeared to be eyelids, interconnected with raised lines. Perhaps this was a map that represented blood vessels within the body. Among them all were carved as shut, save one. The open eye was giant compared to its kin, enveloping its face from the right corner of its forehead to the left center of its chin, stretched open like hungry jaws of a python swallowing its prey whole. Within the eye, a set of 3 pupils and 3 irises, streaking across like claw marks. 3 precise pinholes in the pupils jabbed through the head. As I have had time to dwell on this, I have been struck by a thought. The dawning of a new theory on what was found, but archaeology is a field of study beyond my depth of expertise. As such, my earlier speculations were perfunctory and shallow. Something about this figure remains almost organic. Could it be that this stone form was not those primitive people's gods, but instead a representation of a once living being? The possibility that I've discovered a prehistoric species that until now was unknown is a tantalizing prospect. As faint as that possibility may be, I must be certain. I have ordered that the statue be taken down, stored securely, and sent back to my lab to await my return for further analysis. 17th Seg, 3247 AS. The subject is truly fascinating. I've been working tirelessly, running test after test. The stone has shown unexpected properties. It reacts if it was stone, fossilized carbon and decomposed tissue. Yet to have survived, to be as intricate and well preserved, how can it not be man-made structure? I almost did not record the following observation, having nearly discarded it as the thoughts of a gnome showing his first signs of senility. I had made mental note of the statue's condition, and it was most definitely fractured in more and smaller fragments upon first discovery. Given its transit from its original state to the laboratory, it should have arrived, if anything, more damaged. I attest here that it is in better condition upon my most recent inspection. Could it be made of some hitherto unknown self-repairing material? If that were the case, my discovery would truly revolutionize our present and future world. 7th Oc, 3247 AS. My theory was correct. There are fewer and fewer cracks and fragments within the stone, and the remaining pieces appear to be growing. The subject is self-healing. A self-healing material. Remarkable. It has returned to its original form without outside interference. Healing denotes that it was, indeed, once a living species and supports my original theory. Perhaps a new theory is called for. changing it from a being that was alive to one that still is.
Not the least bit full of himself, that one is. Well, both of them, really. My Ori, do you really think anyone would cry for them? Grieving is, after all, your domain, not mine. I have a terrible instinct for it. Even less so now, as I am already distracted making plans for this one.
I do wish nothing more than to see this join you, but I can make no promises. His story is still young. The parts being played, unclear. I do think we both recognize who else is playing upon this stage, don't we? Let us not forget, in the haze of our own personal desires, our eternal charge. That would be most unfair to our customers.
You are, of course, correct. I don't like it. I despise waiting.
Have I offended you? It was not my intention to delay. Oh, what's this? This was always here. I can't remember anything clearly with this damn storm raging about.
Amazing how the minds of mortals so easily forget things that they wish not to remember. The doctor and our patron seem a curious sort. Thankfully, that has never harmed anyone. Wait, isn't there some mortal wisdom about just that thing? I'm sure I'll remember it eventually. I would guess that what lies in store for our patron will be far more interesting than an old saying can do justice to. I am not sure where I feel the keepers will stand when the tale is told to its end. Not important. Now, let us resume our audience.
She's near by now. I wait for nothing. She would never leave me, nor I her. This letter was written by a colleague of the doctor. I assume it bears some relevance. Allow me to read it as well, and apologies for it appears that the blood, wherever that came from, has obscured some of the words.
Hope this letter reaches you well. I'm writing to inform you that I've deciphered the inscriptions at the site of your discovery.
Blood hides more than words.
The language is in fact Padarin, and I must say, they're of a rather sinister nature. I, as much as you, am not one to believe in ancient curses or the paranormal of sorts. But if your theory stands correct, and it is indeed a fossil or a mummy, then I'd advise to heed these warnings with great caution.
Blood inside the book when we found it. Blood now obscures the words. To what end?
Inscriptions you found at the burial site speak of a most terrible creature who lingers in the shadows and feeds off fear and insanity. Legend goes these creatures are the reason we fear the dark. They are the reason why we turn our heads towards the strange flicker in the corner of our eye, the reason why we hold our breath at the sound of creaks nearby. They are the reason why we search the corners of our homes for monsters, while we glance back at the empty corridor, waiting for something to appear. Humankind never needed such instincts to survive in the natural world, but we evolved to protect ourselves from the creatures of her kind. They called these creatures Kaldurkin, or loosely translated, Insanity Eater.
Damnable storm, candles extinguished and protected! The book, keep it safe. Keep us safe. What is that? I can hear you. I'm here. I'll never leave you again. Cursed and ill omen, endless storm, you give me no moment of peace. I just wanted to see her again, but I can't concentrate. Tea. I sent her for tea, not blood. I would never. Why wouldn't she just listen? She just kept talking. It just added to the storm. I just needed to see her again. But she wouldn't leave me in peace.
Well, I believe that is the end of that. Really, I do feel for this one, but hubris is no excuse for this whole mess.
Hear me! None shall weep for you, but you will weep.
Wait! Look, those are tears mixed with the grime on his cheeks. All I am asking is that we hear the story to its end, and you did say to him that you wanted to hear every word. Indulge me at least that.
Fine. Continue.
10th Orc, 3247 AS. I've identified the material, and I was correct again. The subject appears to be an exoskeleton of some sort. Perhaps I've spent too much time with the subject, or is my friend's message playing tricks on my mind? It is the most peculiar thing. If I stand close, my breath seems to echo back at me from within the subject. If I listen carefully, it's almost as if I can hear it calling my name.
You gave me quite a fright. I hadn't heard you come in. Thank you, T. A good strong cover to plow through this night, and the storm. I was expecting you. You've always been by my side. I'd be lost without you, assuredly lost. Now, I must continue without further disturbance, so please, go and don't forget to close the door on your way this time. No, I'm not trying to argue, but if you didn't forget to close it, then who did? Well, I haven't left this space, and the doctor's secure in the cell, and we're otherwise alone. Enough now. Good evening.
2nd Nev, 3247 AS. I've named the subject Eve. I do regard myself and my methods rigorously logical. My reasoning, in this instance, simply does not concur. Just as the periodic table fell into place in Mendeleev's sleep, this name simply appeared in a vivid dream, one I cannot recall having. Eve, the mother of all mankind. Whether this creature once was, I may be the first to have discovered her kind. I only await my good friend's word for confirmation. Upon today's viewing, it seems a second eye is open on the nape of her neck. I'm not sure how I missed it after my many thorough inspections. I ridicule the thought, yet I cannot help but wonder if somehow the subject's Eve's eye was in fact closed from the beginning, and had only just opened now.
Silence. It seems the good doctor no longer screams from his cell. At least that's a small bit of peace amongst the howl of wind and crash of thunder. What's this? A note, stained by blood that was not there before. I was reading it, wasn't I? Apologies, allow me to continue. Blood, it seems to be everywhere. Transferred by hands that held and read this very document. My hands? No, I sent her away, so I could be alone with her.
Letter reaches you in good health. I myself have not been... I've remained awake for many days now, unable to sleep, haunted by... We've studied the sample you kindly sent us, and we can confirm your theory is correct. It is indeed the remnants of a once living creature. Deciphered more of the messages left by the ancient tribe, and brought information on the nature of your creature. Few have seen its true form and lived to tell the tale. What you see before you is merely a vessel, a human at last occupied, undergoing metamorphosis. True form. I've had my artists recreate the images we found at the burial, which I have enclosed within this letter. I must warn you, the image haunts me even in sleep.
You've come at last. I've thought of nothing but you. I can go now that she's here. Wait, my hands. Where's all this blood come from? No! I told her to leave. Why wouldn't she?
12 Nev, 3247 AS. Another eye has opened. I now realize the subject was never mummified or a fossil. She was alive. She's in my dreams. She's in my dreams. She's in my dreams. She's in my dreams. My dreams. She's in my dreams. My dreams. My dreams. She's in my dreams. And she is beautiful.
Damn it all. He hasn't finished yet. Worse, the next page is torn out. Just 3 words remain. I write this?
Yes, ought to have ripped out the page. Allow me to continue. I do have some time after all. I'm waiting for her here, you know. She's been with me for as long as I remember. I can't fathom why she's delayed. No worries, she will come. Apologies for my delay.
1st Dolph, 3247 AS. More of Eve's eyes have opened. She is breaking from her slumber and will roam the shadows once more. I cannot allow those around me to disturb her, to disturb us, as she recovers to her true form. She tells me I'm blessed to become her new vessel. She will awaken soon, and she will feast on mankind's insanity forevermore.
What is that you say? The doctor's dead. Let me just grab my things. I'll be right behind. Go! I pray that he's not dead. He has much to answer for. No, that isn't right. He has much to tell me about her. She's all that matters. Why are you screaming? Tell it, woman, I'm here now. Let me see him. Dead? Dead? If he's gone, then there's no one for her to be with other than me. At last we're to be no longer apart. Do you hear that? The storm. I had noticed it before. It's gone. I can think clearly. I can see it for what it is. Dear gods of men. You sweet thing, you've been with me for so long, through everything. But you cannot stay with me now. No, you must go. Go while the storm is leaving me be. Go, go. Why won't you listen? Why won't you leave? What is this? So much blood. I hadn't noticed it till now. Not my hands, this torn and crumpled page. Let me read it now that it is whole.
21st Dove, 3247 AS. I write this warning while I am still able to hold on to the final fragments of my sanity. She has taken my mind hostage. She lives within the depths of my fear, my insanity. She feeds. For now, she only exists as fragments in the minds of those who've gazed through her eyes. She cannot be allowed to recover to her true form. She continues to repair her vessel, growing stronger. Each new eye opens after she feeds. Forgive me. I was too late to save her, and I must sever her connections to all whom she may feed upon, to prevent her invading our world once again, by any means necessary. I am left with only the most drastic of actions. A final warning, though. Do not gaze through her eyes. They are a trap, latching onto the minds of her prey. Once done, she lives within their mind, showing herself in the shadows, the edges, fear and paranoia feeding her all the way into the depths of insanity. She took control of my mind. She had me draw her eyes in the writing, to not look through the image. Holes in an image upon the page. Even that will pull her into you.
Even that which holds the image of her eye, too, falls under her gaze. Look, every page. There are no images of eyes. No eyes. Eyes. I refuse, you foul thing. It is not too late. You speak falsehoods and penal deceptions. There were no eyes. You do not control me. Do not speak her name. I love her. Wait. Love what? I love you. No, I sent her away. I knew to protect her from you. From the storm. I sent her away. Where does all this blood come from? It wasn't here before. I know it wasn't. The storm has ended, but I can't hear her. She'll be along soon, won't she? I sent her away. I was protecting her. Why wouldn't she listen? Why wouldn't she leave? Where is she?
And where do you think you are going, Eve? That's what he called you. I do not see any eyes in this book. You may have broken him, but he was correct. He did not let you in. I have no intention of giving him to you.
Oh, dearest, I hate to be the bearer of ill news, but look, on that page, 3 holes pierced through the paper, the letters form words, and the words form a shape. 3 distinct irises and 3 pupils, all slashed across from the right corner, taking the form of an eye, her eye. And as you said, it was hubris and arrogance that drove him. His actions opened him up to all of this. He bears the guilt of it. It pains me deeply to say this, but your first instincts were correct. He is to be damned.
soul, you have been judged, your story told. None who live will grieve for you. Your body lives, but your shattered mind will wander the scourge until such time that you can be condemned. I have spoken. Does the Queen of Vengeance, whose left hand is terror and right is retribution, agree to this judgment?
I fear I am forced to agree.
Very well. Rise, soul, that your sentence may be passed on to you. The time of judgment.
I was not finished. I agree. This patron has earned punishment. That is without question. But suffering has already been heaped upon him by that insolent thing. An abomination who dares trespass in my domain. You, husband, have condemned him to wander, and I say he has already done just that. Now his punishment ends, and his penance begins. You, most foul, do you think I am blind to your hand, ignorant of the innocent souls you condemn? You will learn that I am certainly not. He bears guilt, but she was an innocent. Dedication brought her into your path. She suffered for her devotion. She died for her love.
To the endless eternity I speak. Here is my judgment. She deserves retribution. She deserves vengeance, and I grant it. For her to have this, a vessel is needed, and I choose him. This poor tortured soul shall be the instrument of her revenge.
Your hold on his body and mind are no longer. He is now mine, but you will see him soon. Now run. He is coming for you. I am coming for you. Go. You will live again until you rid the world of that thing. When it is no longer, then you will find rest. And in doing so, you will return here to find her again, waiting for you. Do not make her wait long.
Grand ending indeed. That was a tale for the ages. Not too bad for your first time here. Tell me, did you see where that path was leading? I thought as much. Dear guest, I knew you had a keen mind. I, for one, was worried that there was no hope for him. Aerith does not deal lightly with those who doom others. I dread to think of what will happen when that gnomish doctor finds his way here. Sadly, guest, I must bid you a good evening. The crossover is a busy place after all. There are so many more I have yet to share the table with. I hope that this story shall live on with you for some time. After all, it was most worthy of being recorded. A true fable from the forgotten.
Mind's Eye, produced by Dungeon Studios, written by Jason Merwin, directed by Jason Merwin and Josh McGinnis, edited by Michael Riley, music by ASCII Orchestral and Ambient Fantasy and Dragonstern Music, starring Tyree Mapson as Alabaster the host, Hannah Stoltz as Aerith, Tim Roberts as Oregon, The Upright Man as Inspector, Sam Quintenton as the Mad Doctor, Michael Riley as the Colleague. Now go, I tire of your visage!